It is a freezing cold Friday night, and you know it's freezing cold because I'm wearing a jacket. If you know me in real life, I rarely wear jackets in the winter, even on the coldest of days. But today just hits different because of the wind. But anyway, I finally found time to make a video about this thing, this poor old car, and how I blew it up a couple of years ago around this time when it was this cold. And yeah, this is just the story of that. But I'm going to start by saying, why would anyone put a big turbo on a daily driver? Because I drive this thing every single day. I drive this to ship your packages when you order. I drive this thing to get groceries. I drove this thing across America a couple of times. I drove it up Pikes Peak. This car has seen it all. This is actually the car we took the roof mold from for the race car. Since then I did some body work, welded in some near rear quarters, bonded it. It's an ongoing project. I want to get rid of all the rust and stuff. Painted the trunk, did a bunch of stuff. But more or less, I drive this car every day. Summer, winter, spring, fall. And it's been that way for probably the past 10 years plus. And before that, my dad used to drive this car to work. So this car's been around for a while. So the question, why would anyone put a big turbo setup on a car they drive every single day? Because that's just going to cause nothing but headaches if you know anything about high power big turbo builds. Well, I'm the guy that designs the turbos and makes them and sells them. I actually design everything internally, mechanically. I hand pack all the bearings. These turbos have bearings that no other turbos use. So I need to get as much test time as possible, and what better car to test on than your daily driver. So this car really isn't about testing peak power. It's more about testing, you know, bearing clearances and technical stuff, spool characteristics, sound, etc. I've run turbos on this car without oil. I've run turbos without water that should have water. I've run turbos that are shimmed too tightly, shimmed too loose, damaged wheels, out of balance, all sorts of crap. I've had dozens of turbos on this thing just to try out. This turbo's actually been on there the longest. This is the turbo that blew this car up 2 years ago. So it's the same one. It's the 6559 Evo. But yeah, that pretty much says it. It's this is sort of a test rig. So it's got a VFR head gasket, so no issues with that thing. I blew a head gasket once, and I went to a VFR, and I never looked back. It's not like I'm racing this car. It's not like I'm trying to make some sleeper street weapon, even though it kind of is. I've pulled some pretty expensive cars in this thing, which is kind of funny. But this car is just more about testing than it is just for pleasure or having a big turbo car just for the sake of having a big turbo car. If you ask me, this car doesn't feel like it's moving at all. Like on high boost, it makes in the 400s for horsepower at the front wheels. Right now where it's at, it's probably in the 320, 330 range, maybe more than that. I don't know, I'm broken because I have the race car, and nothing feels like it's moving unless it's got 700 horsepower and weighs 1,000 kilos. So that's just me. But anyway, how would I blow this thing up? Part of it is due to that. Nothing feels fast to me. And then second of all is that this is a daily driver, so it gets neglected like a daily while being a big turbo car. So there was a point where I bragged to people about how long I've gone without opening the hood. So it was December of 2023 I blew this car up, and then I don't think I even touched the laptop for a year and a half while changing turbo sizes. So I was going from small turbo to bigger turbo to small to big, playing with setups, playing with boost, not even touching the tune at all. And then I'm able to do that because this car is a MAF delete, and I'm sorry I'm not here to educate you on how to do that, but basically with a MAF delete on T7 you can do whatever. You can treat it like T5. Whoa, it's cold. You can be less precise with tuning. You can do all sorts of stupidity with it. So I was doing stupidity like changing turbos without changing the tune and beating the crap out of the car. So it got to a point where I was like, hey, the car's misfiring a little every now and then. on cold starts. But it's probably nothing. Probably needs plugs. Just kept driving. It didn't even put plugs in it. Sorry, I literally had to just come back into the car because it's that cold out there. I can't stand it there and talk. Anyway, well, what I was saying was the car picked up a bit of a misfire in 2023. I think it was sometime in the winter. And I'm like, this is not a big deal. You know, like you start up, it would be on 3 cylinders for a bit and then it would come back to life. I'm like, it just needs plugs. I didn't put plugs in it. I just kept on driving it, kept on beating on it, putting all sorts of gas in it, 87, 93, whatever. And I'm like, it's a Saab motor, it can take it. But just so you know, also this engine is B205 with T5 pistons, so B204 pistons, B204 rods, like stock B204 rods. Bell and shaft delete. It's got a completely stock head apart from having B204 cams, so it's basically like a B204. So I'm like, it's good. Nothing's gonna melt if it's too lean, because I did tune this car initially with a wideband in the exhaust, and then just had it hooked up externally to a laptop. And I took the wideband out just because I needed it for the other car. So didn't have a wideband, nothing, and then the car picks up a misfire after beating on it with all sorts of fuels, and I think it's plugs. But in the back of my head, I'm like, the engine's probably hurt or something, but I don't care. I hop in it every single day and take off and go do what I have to do in it. So I get away with that for the whole summer, including going to the track with some friends and doing some fun laps just for instruction purposes with 3 guys in the car. Continued going the whole summer with the same misfire, and I'm like, I'll finally put plugs in it. Put plugs in it. It actually fixed it. I'm like, this is good. All right. Kept driving it, no issues, and then PCV starts blowing oil everywhere under long pulls, and then I'm like, the PCV is probably no good. Maybe engine's no good. Who cares? The car runs. So in my head, the car still drives, so the car's fine. And again, I'm just like reluctant to open hood for anything other than pouring in washer fluid or topping up any fluid when the screen tells me to, because I'm worried about the race car with racing, because that's the car that's actually doing things, and I'm just worried about this car just driving me to the store and driving me to UPS. So that's just an insight into how I think about things. Like, if the car moves under its own power, it's fine. So anyway, I get away with this nonsense for like the whole year somehow. And then after Christmas, between Christmas and New Year, I remember FAF Motorsports had an open house. So I actually went to that open house with Singh, who was my guy helping with the car and the towing and stuff and racing. You'll remember his face. Even getting there, we get out of the car to go in, and I'm like, the car smells kind of oily, but I didn't really say anything about it. But I was thinking it for sure. And then on the way home, since we're at a race car sort of event thing, the drive is going to be a bit spirited. So I was doing a few pulls, and then with every pull, the car just felt worse. And it was dropping a cylinder more and more every now and then, until I did a pull, and then there was just a smoke screen behind the car. So that happens, and then sings with me in the car, and he's just like, "Oh crap, we should pull over." And I'm like, "Nah, man, whatever." I literally drove probably 20 kilometers to his house to where I was dropping him off. And then by the time I got there, the car was on like one cylinder. It was bad. So I drop him off and then pop the hood. And I'm like, this is such a hard story to tell because it sounds so stupid telling it back. But anyway, I get to his house, drop him off, and, you know, we're talking the whole way there like, oh yeah, I think the motor's done. But the car's still driving, so I'm like, I probably just broke a piston or something somehow. I'm like, it's a B204 piston, nobody breaks those. Maybe it dropped a valve or something, I don't know, something happened, right? So I got to his house, you know, popped the hood, dipstick, like, you know, there's smoke coming from everywhere, so pull the dipstick out, and then it's chugging through the dipstick, so that's just broken piston. So I'm like, oh crap. He's like, damn, you're gonna need to tow home or something, because I'm like 25K back the other way home. And I'm like, nah man, you got any oil? He's like, oh, I got some 020 or whatever. So I'm like, yeah, just give me it. Just dump oil in it. Just drove home. Just, speaking of home, I'm actually gonna go home and finish this video because my phone battery is dying and it's cold. So I'm just gonna be sitting in the car for the rest of this video otherwise. So anyway, we're back home, just like in the story, I guess. Made a cup of tea. I probably made a cup of tea in the story as well, because I was stressed out. But anyway, I'm pretty sure I brought the car back and then just parked it across the parking lot from my house because it was just dripping oil from everywhere. The rear bumper was coated in oil. The hood was coated in oil on the inside. There was oil dripping down from the headlights. It was just ugly, so I'm pretty sure I didn't even put a wrench to it that day. I just went inside, like parked it, locked it, went inside, whatever, came up with a game plan for the next day. Because the next day was actually New Year's Eve. I don't know what you usually do on New Year's Eve, but it's not rip an engine apart in the freezing cold on your driveway in hopes to fix it ASAP because you need to go places. Because I had to go places and it's my only car. I could have borrowed my sister's car or something, or a friend's car, or rent a car or something, but you know, like, you know, deep down inside, the Goggins inside of me just wanted to fix this car and just get back driving it. So woke up the next day, New Year's Eve. Happy New Year's Eve. Started pulling this car apart outside on the driveway because the race car takes up the garage, so that wasn't an option. I think something was apart on the race car, so I couldn't move it. So anyway, pulling pistons from the daily isn't like pulling pistons from this car. You got to pull the whole subframe off, wheels got to come off, ball joints, exhaust, all the stupidness, rusted bolts, all the nonsense that comes with working on street cars, which is why I hate doing it. Anyway, it took forever. It took all day, I think, to even get to the point of having the cylinder head off. And by the time I got the head off, it was 11-ish at night or something like that. And then between other stuff I had to do, and there were fireworks going off because it was New Year's Eve, so there's fireworks going on across the street. There was like a huge crowd of people, and I'm just like rolling in the deep on the ground, just trying to take an engine apart. So that's definitely a core memory for me, just watching fireworks while laying on the cold pavement of the winter. So that was fun. Anyway, I got the head off, and then these are the pictures I took the next day, and this is how it looked. So cylinder 4 was completely torched through, so it melted on the intake side in the corner. It kept melting and melting until it finally got under the ring and melted a hole in the piston, which ended up cracking it. And the only thing holding the piston together were those little metal tangs in the skirt made for support. So if I didn't drive it home like I did at like one specific throttle position where it didn't make any knocking sound, that skirt would have blown apart and took everything out, or that would have been a more extensive rebuild. So cylinder 4 was just completely done. I've never seen a piston melt like that in a Saab ever, which is kind of funny. It actually sprayed aluminum onto the rod if you look at it closely in this picture, which is crazy. It blasted through there. So I've never seen that. Cylinder 1 was melted, like starting to melt pretty badly. It was going to end up like cylinder 4. Cylinder 2 was just starting to melt. It was a little bit better than cylinder 1, and cylinder 3 was fine. I'll tell you why cylinder 3 was fine, because this car has a log manifold, and when I tuned it, I pulled timing out of cylinder 3, so I actually had split timing on this engine, because cylinder 3 had a straight shot to the wastegate and the turbo, so I knew cylinder 3 was going to flow the best. So the lack of timing saved cylinder 3, and this works out perfect because I only had 3 spare pistons to put in the car, and these 3 spare pistons came from that engine I money shifted in the race car during COVID, during 2020. So that engine I money shifted, it kept driving, and then it blew up badly when I actually let Alex drive, the carbon guy. I never told anyone this. So that engine blew up. 3 of those pistons were good and I still had them. Those 3 pistons are the pistons in that car now. So I only changed 3 pistons. I just polished the faces so they all matched. And if you look at the part numbers on them, you can see like 3 of them are 2nd gen B204, or 3 of them are 1st gen. They're all the same, it's just the numbering on the face is a little bit different on the 1st to 2nd gen. So I feel there's no need for me to explain like how this happened, because this whole video is just a prologue up until this point to where this happened. It was just straight up neglect, running cheap pump gas and just beating the crap out of the car with a 65 mil turbo with a tune for a 59 or something. But anyway, I got that car put back together within 6 days, got it running. Ah, Jesus. Man, the amount of oil everywhere. I didn't even change the rod bearings. I put the same rod bearings right back in it. And it's been almost 30,000 kilometers, I think, since that day. And the rest is history. The car still runs. You just saw me drive it. I still drive it every day. I still beat on it, honestly. I don't run 36 pounds of boost anymore. I'll tell you that much. And I don't beat on it if it's too lean. But actually, I took the map and just fattened everything up since that day and just kind of left it. And that's how it's been since then. So, yeah. So that's that story. I promised I would tell it. I don't even think there's anything I'm leaving out. All the pictures are there, all the stuff is there. And thanks for watching, I guess. And put a wideband in your car and keep an eye on it. I still don't have a wideband in that car, but do as I say, don't do as I do. Take care. So I know like 9 of you are gonna talk smack and say, he must not know about engines, he must not know what happened, because he's explaining it so casually like it just happened. Well look, I must know something about engines, okay? Let me give you the scientific explanation as to what happened. I think this is cylinder 1, and yes, I saved these pistons. This is cylinder number 1. This is cylinder number 4. This is the one that melted right through. And this is cylinder 2. So If you notice on all of them, they are burnt up on the intake side of the piston. So what this is of course it's detonation. So this is from being too lean on fuel with too low of an octane. So when you go leaner, the burn actually gets hotter because there's more oxygen available, of course. So when it gets hotter, it also burns faster. So the chain reaction of the flame through the mixture happens much quicker. So you can get to a point where the mixture burns so quickly that it's faster than the speed of sound. And that's important, the speed of sound in air. And the key word here really is air, and not many people have this intimate understanding of detonation. So on the surface of a piston, there's actually a little tiny layer of air sitting there at all times, even when it's running, even when it's moving up and down in the cylinder. So if you're familiar with aerodynamics, there's a thing called a boundary layer on a surface. So it's basically a curtain of air that's just stuck to the surface all the time. You can rip it away, but it takes a lot of energy, a lot of force to do. So that boundary layer on top of the piston is air. And what happens is when your combustion becomes faster than the speed of sound, it can actually pierce through that boundary layer. And why is this important? This boundary layer doesn't protect the piston from heat. It doesn't protect it from anything. But what it does protect it from is any pooled up fuel sitting on the surface will not ignite if it's within the boundary layer. So once you have a detonation faster than the speed of sound, it can actually blow away that boundary layer and ignite pooled up fuel. So these marks on the piston here is where fuel was pooling up based on the fuel injectors I run. I run Simon's 80-pound injectors. They're known for pooling fuel because of their spray pattern. They just do that. I'm not really blaming the injectors here, but that's just what they do. So if I was running good gas, it'd be fine. Fuel would pool up and it would evaporate away with each cycle, and it would combust. Some of it would stay there, whatnot. Some of it would get washed down the bore, whatever, right? But since I was running 87 intermittently and like whatever gas, and it was running lean and stuff, what would happen is detonation would happen. That fuel isn't really detonation resistant enough, and if the detonation could pierce through the boundary layer on the piston, it would ignite that fuel on the surface of the piston, and then it gives you this look. And when I say ignite, it's not really ignite. It's going to look like fireworks. There's actually aluminum burning in with the fuel because the fuel got ignited in the surface, on the surface, and then got in it because of that supersonic ignition. So that's a really detailed explanation of detonation. And obviously the way to prevent it is not run terrible fuel. So knowing all this shouldn't have happened, right? Well, let me tell you something. Sometimes you just gotta do stuff. Sometimes you just gotta drive. Sometimes you just you know the consequences, but you just gotta do something. That's one of the secrets of life. Sometimes a smart person has to be stupid. Sometimes you just gotta find the limits of things. Sometimes you gotta see how long you can get away with running 87 octane, because you know what? You got spare pistons, you got spare engines at home, and if it goes wrong, you can fix it within 6 days. So that's the boat I'm in. So I blew up my own car, I fixed my own car, and it didn't really cost me that much. So it's a win-win, maybe. Maybe it's a loss win. Maybe it's a net zero. Maybe it's a something. But I got a story out of it, and I got an experience out of it. So, and I actually managed to do this much damage to a B204 piston. So I don't know who else has been able to do this kind of damage. But if you have, just leave a comment or something. But anyway, car's been running good since. And yeah, that's enough for this bonus section. Even when you understand something, you can't fully know until you experience it. It's the same as being a kid and hearing, if you play with fire, you'll get burned. You don't know until you burn yourself.